Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to our professional development webinar series. Our goal in the series is to provide parish staff and volunteers and diocesan ministers with the formation, training, and tools they need to create vibrant Catholic parishes and growing ministries. In today's webinar, we are welcoming John and Terry Bozio, who will give us a presentation on the 4 factors that make marriage preparation success. My name is Jared Dees. I'm the Digital Marketing Manager at Ave Maria Press, and I'm joined today by Christina Pignon, the Parish Marketing Coordinator.
Hello everyone. Before we begin our webinar, we would like to recognize our webinar partners, the National Conference for Catechetical Leadership, the National Association of Catholic Family Life Ministers, the National Association for Lay Ministry, and the National Federation of Priest Councils. Everyone in the audience is muted today, but you are able to ask questions. Questions may be seen to our presenters using the questions section of the GoToWebinar panel, which you can see displayed here. I will read as many of those questions as possible at the end of the presentation today. This webinar is being recorded, and a link to the recording will be sent to you later this week via email.
So with that, I want to extend a very warm welcome to John and Terry Bozio. They're active in marriage and family ministry, serving parishes and dioceses across the country. They've led couples retreats and family ministry workshops for deacons and priests. They produced 2 parish-based marriage enrichment programs, 6 Dates for Catholic Couples and The Beatitudes, A Couple's Path to Greater Joy. The author of several books, including Happy Together and Blessed is Marriage. And we are proud to say that they are the authors of the Joined by Grace books, our new marriage preparation program that we are releasing this week. So John and Terry, both, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you.
I'm going to make you the presenter right now. So there we go.
Can you see it?
Yep, all set.
Okay.
We're happy to be here. Thank you, Jared, and thank all of you who are joining us today for this webinar.
And yes, we're honored to be part of this webinar series. And I want to begin by asking all of us a question. Think for a moment, especially if you're involved in marriage preparation, think for a moment about your marriage preparation program, and whether it is at the parish level or diocesan level, and ask yourself, what is the goal of my program? What are we trying to accomplish with the couples that come to marriage preparation? What are our hopes for these couples? It seems to me that if there is a general goal that we probably all have, is that we want our couples to be happy spouses and happy parents. And I think that looking at social sciences, we can get some hints from the social science researchers on what makes a happy marriage. In 2011, the researchers at the National Marriage Project did a study of young parents and their happiness. And they found that, especially for those who are married, there are certain certain predictors of marital stability and marital happiness. And the top 4, among the top 4 are these: regular church attendance as a couple, the belief that God is at the center of a couple's marriage, a spirit of generosity toward each other, and the support of their community. It seems also to them, and they are speculating, that among these, the top one is, the key one is the regular church attendance, because through it we grow in our spirituality, we grow in our generosity, and we meet a community of people that are supportive to us. And this study, or some of the findings of these studies, are supported and validated by another research done by Bradford Wilcox in 2016, this year. And he wrote, as you see at the bottom of the screen, from his research, that 78% of couples who regularly go to services together report that they are very happy and extremely happy. Now, these are not studies done on Catholic couples. These are couples in general. So some of these may be Protestant, some of these may be Muslims or Hindu. depending on their religion. But the point of regular service attendance together is a key one in the findings of the researchers. And so based on this, we could almost say that the goals of a marriage preparation would be to put the couples at least on the track. We cannot achieve all of this during a short period we have them with us, but put them on the right track so it leads to regular mass attendance. It leads to growth in understanding of the spiritual nature of Christian marriage. It leads to growth in generosity toward each other. And it provides for them the support of a Christian community. And so to the degree that we can achieve these, we probably can expect that we will have happy couples. So the question for us today is, what does it take to move in the direction where we can achieve some of these goals with our couples, or for our couples? And we believe that to moving toward in the direction of achieving some of these goals, our marriage preparation programs need to have 4 qualities. They need to have couples feel welcomed. In other words, the couple needs to come to know someone at the parish that they think or feel they care for them personally. They need to have some growth in faith. The couple grows in their understanding of what it means to be married in the church. They need to feel that they belong. They need to be connected to their community of faith. And they need to feel that they are members, so that they are part of the community and participate in the life of the community. And they feel supported after the wedding. So these are the 4 factors we want to explore today with this presentation. I realize that these are ideals. These are things that are difficult to achieve. These are things that many people in the field doing marriage preparations are trying to accomplish in a variety of ways. But it is difficult because it requires investment of resources, it requires tools, and it requires the commitment to do some of this. It requires making some changes in the way we train or prepare our engaged couples. It is because of this that Terry and I accepted the invitation by Ave Maria Press to develop some tools for those who are working in marriage preparation. The programs we created in partnership with Ave Maria Press and with Spirit Juice Studio is called Joined by Grace, Preparing for the Sacramental Journey of Marriage. And we will make reference to this program as we progress with our presentation. But as a side note, I want to give you some ideas of where our ideas come from. What we share with you today comes from 25 years of joint work in parish ministry, as well as 4 years we spent in the Family Life Office of the Archdiocese of Kansas City. And I personally was in practice for 13 years as a marriage and family therapist. And then more recently, we are involved in marriage enrichment throughout the country with our new programs. And in addition to that, I want to say a word of thanks to all of the people in Family Life Ministry who have given us feedback and suggestions and helped us in creating Joined by Grace, and really appreciate your support.
We begin with the first quality that contributes to the effectiveness of marriage preparation ministry. The parish welcomes and develops a personal relationship with each engaged couple. Pope Francis tells us that marriage preparation, like many other ministries, is a ministry of encounter and accompaniment. It is a great opportunity for the Church when a couple contacts the parish to talk about getting married. At that moment, we may find that what many engaged couples are asking is to have their wedding in the parish church. And we know that what the Church has to offer is so much more. For those of us in parish ministry who receive the first call or make the first contact, our challenge is to welcome these couples with warm enthusiasm, regardless of their situation. The couple's decision to contact the parish is an inkling of their faith alive. This contact between the parish and the couple begins a relationship and can be the first step in a faith journey. This welcoming personal encounter is best experienced through a series of one-on-one meetings between the engaged and someone from the parish, a priest, a deacon, or a married couple. And it is a delicate process of getting to know each other. The priest, deacon, and mentor couples become companions, role models, and valuable links to the faith community for years to come. John and I remember well the priest and the married couples that walked with us when we were engaged and when we were married. And 43 years later, we are still in touch with some of them. In Joined by Grace, we recommend that parishes assign mentor couples who meet with the engaged 6 times and stay in contact with them after, at least during the first year of their marriage. Our first task in marriage preparation is to listen to the couples as Jesus listened to the disciples on the road to Emmaus. When Jesus approached the disciples, he didn't preach. He asked what they were talking about, and he listened to their story. When we listen, we get to know the couples and we learn their story. And following is what we may hear in some of the stories, or the stories of some of the millennial couples coming to marriage preparation today. And most likely you are aware of these. They are not well catechized, and few attend church regularly. About 25% of today's young people have experienced the divorce of their parents. 43% believe that living together with a partner before marriage decreases the risk of divorce. Together and already have children, a factor that may cloud their freedom to commit. Many do not foresee the challenges of marrying someone from a different faith tradition. Some have towards sex that need redirecting. We need to listen because all of these are factors that can affect a young marriage. Researchers are telling us that what happens before the wedding does not stay before the wedding. It has an impact on the marriage in the months and the years after the wedding.
So we have talked about so far about the first quality of marriage preparation program, that is to be welcoming and to be listening to our engaged couples. The second one is to guide them and help them grow in faith. One of the tools for this is obviously catechesis, but catechesis not as a class, but as a personal encounter, a personal sharing. Like Jesus did on the road to Emmaus. He listened and then he explained. In Amoris Laetitia, Pope Francis says that couples do not need to be taught the entire catechism or to be overwhelmed with too much information. He writes, quality is more important than quantity. In reviewing marriage preparation programs, we found that all provide a catechesis about the sacrament of matrimony. The difference from program to program is how this catechesis is presented and the emphasis that it is given. In Joined by Grace, the catechesis is focused on the 7 sacraments and how they relate to the day-to-day life of married couples. And I want to take a few moments to review what we do in Joined by Grace. The approach on the focus on the sacraments reflect one of the recommendations that the Synod Fathers made to Pope Francis after the last Synod. He writes in Amoris Laetitia, the Synod Fathers agreed on the need to ground marriage preparation in the process of Christian initiation by bringing out the connection between marriage, baptism, and the other sacraments. St. Paul wrote to the couples in Ephesus, "Husband, love your wives even as Christ loved the church." In Joined by Grace, couples learn the meaning of spousal love from Christ, from the way Christ loves his bride, the church, in the seven sacraments. These are the titles of the 6 chapters of the couples book. You can see them in the next slide.
The first chapter is welcoming and accepting the grace of baptism. Like Christ, who in baptism embraces us and welcomes us into God's family to share his divine life with us, spouses are to welcome and accept each other to share a life together.
The topic of chapter 2 is being fully present, the grace of confirmation. Like Christ, who in confirmation binds us to himself to give us strength through the Holy Spirit, spouses bind themselves to each other and remain constantly present to strengthen and support one another.
The title of chapter 3 is Giving Oneself Completely, the Grace of the Eucharist. Like Christ gives himself completely to us in the Eucharist, spouses are to give themselves completely to each other. Each needs to be willing to make sacrifices for the sake of their marriage.
The title of chapter 4 is Forgiving, the Grace of Reconciliation. Like Christ forgives us and frees us from sin and reconciliation, spouses are to forgive each other without holding grudges.
Chapter 5, Healing, the Grace of Anointing of the Sick. Like Christ comforts, consoles, and heals us in the anointing of the sick, spouses are to comfort, console, and help each other heal.
Chapter 6, the title is Serving, the Grace of Marriage and Holy Orders. Like Christ serves the church through marriage and holy orders, spouses are to serve each other and to serve God. These are the titles of the book, of the chapters in the book the couple has. They're also the topics of the 6 meetings that the engaged couple will have with their mentor couples, or the 6 sessions that couples will have in a retreat, for example. In Joined by Grace, the couples learn that mutual acceptance, the commitment to be present, self-sacrifice, forgiveness, healing, and service are qualities that help them become what they are, the icon of God's love, to use a phrase coined by Benedict XVI. If you think about it, and if you think about your marriage, without these qualities, a marital relationship cannot last. In fact, researchers and psychologists report that these qualities are the building blocks of a healthy relationship, and they are especially important in marriage. Each meeting and each chapter of Joined by Grace begin with a catechesis on one of these sacraments. And from the sacrament, we draw lessons that address practical skills and helpful habits needed for healthy communication, for money management, sexuality, family planning, and spirituality. This is the unique approach of Joined by Grace. It is a new paradigm in marriage preparation. Let me explain how it works. Each chapter in the couples book is divided in 4 parts. In the first part, we explore what Catholics believe about the sacrament. In the second part, we learn about love. We discuss what we learn about love from Christ in this sacrament. In the third part, we consider some of the obstacles couples are likely to encounter. And the last one, we provide tools for building a strong marriage. And in each chapter and in each session, we talk about 2 types of tools: communication tools and prayer tools. So what I would like to do next is walk you through the outline of one of the meetings, the meeting 1, using the materials from Joined by Grace. And so the title is Welcoming and Accepting, the Grace and Call of Baptism. We welcome the couples, and we do an opening prayer, and then we talk about, set the stage about the topics, which is followed by a video produced by Spirit Jews called Marriage Is. These videos are about 3 minutes long. Then we explore baptism, the sacrament of baptism, what Catholics believe about baptism, what baptism teaches us about marriage, how the sacramental graces of baptism help married couples. And then we have a second video, the grace and call of baptism. We move that on to the next topic, accepting your spouse as a precious gift, accepting each other's uniqueness and imperfections, accepting oneself, accepting God's plan for marriage. And video 2 summarizes it into choosing to believe. The fourth part, or the third part of the meeting or the book, is common obstacles to accepting each other. An obstacle is assuming rather than asking, or a variety of unrealistic expectations. And the video 4 is called It's the Little Things. As I said, each video is about 3 minutes long. We go into the fourth part of the meeting with tools for building a strong marriage. In this particular meeting, we will talk about communication skills, particularly skills in effective listening, and also prayer, praying for mutual acceptance. We talk about the serenity prayer, and then we close with a prayer. We have available for you online, as you will see on your screen, a copy of a scope and sequence chart that gives you the detailed outline of each of the 6 sessions.
The third quality that contributes to the effectiveness of a marriage preparation program is helping couples feel that they belong. It is connecting the engaged with the life of the parish. Pope Francis writes in Amoris Laetitia, "The complexity of today's society and challenges faced by the family require a greater effort on the part of the whole Christian community in preparing those who are about to be married." Involving the community in marriage preparation is not easy to do, especially today when couples may not live in the same city or for couples in the military. However, it is important that we include a community dimension to our marriage preparation. It is up to us as parish ministers to use our creativity to make the parish aware that there are couples in our community that are preparing for marriage, and that they need our prayers and our support. It is also up to us to find ways to help the engaged couples to know that they are part of a parish family, a faith community. Their parish cares about them and prays for them. Their parish invites them to participate in its liturgical and social life. To accomplish this, Join by Grace encourages parishes to hold a commissioning of mentor couples during the Sunday Masses, once a year or when a newly engaged couple is assigned a mentor. Parishes can publish in the bulletin the names of couples preparing for marriage and ask for the community's prayers for them. Once a month, we can pray for the engaged and mentors during the universal prayer at Sunday Masses. Again, this brings into the awareness of the people in our parish that there are engaged couples preparing for marriage in our parish. We can recruit prayer couples that specifically have been asked to pray for a particular engaged couple. And they may want to, after a year during the process of their preparation, however long that is, it may not be a complete year, write to them, send them a note, and just tell them that they have been praying for them during this process. Another way that we can help them feel they belong is by having mentored couples attend Sunday Mass with the engaged couples. Invite them to attend Mass with them. And to help have the community feel involved, perhaps hold weddings during a Sunday Mass. And then also help newly marrieds who relocate, who move to another city. They've come here to get married because this is home, but really they're going to be living in another city. Help them reconnect with a new parish where they're going to live. So far, we have talked about helping couples feel welcomed, helping them rekindle their faith, and helping them feel that they belong. Now we want to address the fourth quality of an effective marriage preparation program, helping couples feel supported after the wedding. Pope Francis writes, "The initial years of marriage are a vital and sensitive period during which couples become more aware of the challenges and meaning of married life. Consequently, pastoral accompaniment needs to go beyond the actual celebration of the sacrament." Dr. Ted Houston, a professor emeritus of human ecology and psychology at the University of Texas in Austin, tracked couples during the first 13 years of marriage. He found that the first 2 years of marriage are the most important in a couple's life. Joined by Grace encourages the program director or the mentor couple to stay in touch with each newly married couple at least once a quarter during their first year by inviting them to attend social events with them, to attend marriage enrichment opportunities such as date nights or retreats, and to participate in the life of the parish by becoming involved in ministries such as lectors, ushers, serving on a parish council committee, or as catechists or others. We believe that mentor couples can play an important role in the early months and years of couples' marriage. They can be a personal link to parish life. Joined by Grace suggests that all engaged couples be given mentors, even those who attend a diocesan or regional retreat. In Luke's Gospel, after the disciples recognized Jesus in the breaking of the bread, they set out at once and returned to their faith community in Jerusalem. When marriage preparation is carried out in a spirit of encounter and accompaniment, as we learned from Jesus, it can be a turning point in the spiritual life of a young couple. We can facilitate this when we help couples to feel that someone at the parish cares for them personally, when we help them nurture or rekindle their faith, when we help them feel that they belong to a faith community, and after the wedding, when we help them feel that their parish is a source of support. Through these four qualities, we give the engaged couple a solid footing and a good foundation toward building a happy marriage. We hope and pray they will continue to attend Sunday Mass regularly, continue to grow in their faith, continue to grow in generosity toward each other, and remain connected to their faith community.
As we get close to a closing, I want to say a few words about Joined by Grace and the different components of Joined by Grace. As you see on the screen, those are the different components of Joined by Grace. There is the couple book. This is not just a workbook. It is a full book of 141 pages, and it has a lot of information about each of the subjects, about the sacraments, about stories from couples, how they learn to get along together and to live together. So that is the couple book. There is a mentor couple guide that mentor couples will use to help them lead the group meetings or the one-on-one meetings with the engaged couples, in case you see it. And then finally, actually most importantly, there is a program manual for the program director. This is really the key to helping a parish implement a full program that provides what we just discussed today in this presentation. With that, there is also the DVD that has 24 short videos produced by award-winning Spirit Jews. And coming out in the spring, there is a Catholic prayer book for engaged and newly married couples. That actually is available now as a pre-order online. And so I invite you to check the many resources, especially the free online resources provided by Ave Maria Press at joinedbygrace.com. We want to close with a prayer. The prayer that the mentor couple says over the engaged couple at the end of the first meeting.
This blessing, it's a blessing prayer, is adapted from a prayer in the book Prayers for the Domestic Church by Father Edward Hayes. Mentors may alternate it, but anyway, this is what they would pray. We give thanks to God for the gifts you have been given in one another. We rejoice with you in your mutual love, know of our prayers for you during this time of engagement. May it be a time of great joy and rich blessings, and also a time of mature discernment. May you find the grace to lovingly and deeply explore the problems as well as the joys that may lie ahead, so that you can freely take up and embrace a deep-rooted and lasting commitment to marriage. May then the fullness of God's blessing be upon you and enrich these days with affection, grace, and peace. May the Lord of love bless each of you on this day and on all the days of your life.
And with that, we pause here and listen to your comments and to your questions. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, John and Terry. I'm going to take the screen back over so that you don't have to worry about that. Good. So we've got some different questions coming in, and Christina and I are going to read some of those for you now would be the time, everyone, if you want to jump in and ask your questions. I'm going to begin with a question about mentor couples. One of the biggest questions we've gotten, and I'm sure you've heard a lot, is, okay, how do I recruit mentor couples? How do I get mentor couples to help out with my ministry? I'm on my own. I'm doing this all myself. Where can I go to get people to help out?
We were talking about that last night, actually, as we were trying to anticipate what some of the questions might be.
That's a question that our friends asked us, even people in Nashville.
Right, right. And so I can only go, I will speak from my own personal experience. As a director of religious education at a parish, I came to know not just the children who were in the program, our religious education program, but the parents. And I would have been a good resource to ask if you were the family life coordinator, or if you were the pastor, or the pastoral minister, whoever is responsible for recruiting mentor couples in your parish. I would ask the DRE. I would also ask the other minister or the other staff members in your parish who may come in contact with couples in other areas, and maybe may know them personally as a couple, and have a feeling about them that, this couple, you're looking for mentor couples, this couple would be a good couple. So I don't think this has to be the sole responsibility of this one person to look for the mentor couples or to recruit them, but to kind of ask for some ideas within the parish staff. That would be a beginning.
The program manual is a whole chapter on recruiting mentor couples. And one of the things to make clear is these do not need to be perfect couples. It's important that be couples of faith, people that are willing to share their faith and their marriage with the young people. And then the training will help them prepare for what they need to do.
And we've watched the team of couples who help with the marriage preparation. We have a monthly diocesan retreat for engaged couples in Nashville. The population of Catholics here is relatively small, so we have a diocesan retreat monthly, and parish is responsible for that each month. And so when it's our parish's turn, we have a group of couples that do that, and we help every once in a while with that. Of course, it comes up once a year, but we help when we can. And I've noticed that the couples they change. These couples that participate have changed. They're new faces, they're new couples, they're young, they're energetic, and they're always great. And so I think they're there.
Yeah. One of the benefits of having the program manual is that it gives you a detailed process for recruiting and for training mentor couples.
Christina, I think you need to unmute.
Thank you. There was a question about wondering how NFP is taught and included in the program.
Yes, NFP is included in the sixth session or sixth chapter of the book, in the sense that this is a service of God. The way we frame it is in the context of, and we have not touched on this in the presentation, but one of the things we ground a lot of what we are teaching is that we teach them that the love story that exists between couples is part of God's love story. We join a partnership with God in marriage, and that applies a partnership with God in the fertility that He has given us. And in that context, we talk about natural family planning, the importance of following God's plan for fertility and for the use of fertility. But we do not go into details on different methods. We just put it out in the frame, expecting that there would be within the diocese a particular teacher that teach specific methods of family planning.
Excellent.
And so Connie is asking about, you touched on this briefly just a moment ago about the retreat model that you do in Nashville, and I know a lot of dioceses and parishes have that kind of model as opposed to the mentor models. Her specific question is, do you have or will you have recommended format for non-mentor approach? She said this is specific for a parish who celebrates 80 plus weddings per year. So I know that there's some adaptations in the books, but can you go a little bit in more detail about what that means?
Yeah, we've taken the materials and basically created outlines for a retreat, either that begins on Friday night and goes through Saturday, or begins on Saturday morning and goes through Sunday. And that is available online. We don't have it in the book. There's not enough room for everything in the book. But the materials in the mentor guide would then be fitting with the schedule that we have planned for a retreat. And of course, the videos would fit in. Basically, the retreat, the way we would see it happening, it would begin with each session, the sixth session, each session with a general meeting where the topic is brought to the attention of the couples, and then couples get divided in smaller group with mentors. They are given time for personal, for couple reflection, and for discussion. And then they come back again for the next topic.
Good. Thanks. And for Christine, any advice in that format on how, I mean, with the retreats, you're a little bit less, one-on-one time with kind of mentors or group leaders. Any advice for the people that are doing group leaders, who are being the group leaders in retreats, or who are leading large group, and how to make sure you're still doing that welcoming and making sure that they're giving that sense of belonging to them?
Yeah, and that's why we are recommending that even for couples who attend a retreat, that the parish give them a mentor couple. The mentor couple really guides them, can talk to them about the retreat coming up, and perhaps meet with them after the retreat. Because I think it's easy when we have a retreat at the diocesan level to miss the connection with the parish community. And the mentor couple can be that link, that they go to the retreat, but after the retreat, let's go to Mass together until your wedding day, and even after, so that the mentor couple pulls them into the parish as opposed to let them be by themselves. And then couples disappear after the wedding. So we don't want that to happen.
No, I think that's a great idea. I mean, you're not asking mentors to be doing the 6 long meetings necessarily in that format. You're just basically making sure that there's a connection between the parish and the couple, and making sure they're, just as a regular human being might do, just checking in with them, making sure they're doing okay, so let's go to Mass. So I love that idea. Thank you. Christina, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. There's a question out there from Barbara, and she's, her and her husband lead RCIA programs in their parish, and they meet with couples who have been married civilly for many years and already have children, and they prepare with these couples for the sacrament of matrimony. And her question is, Will these couples be able to relate to the material in Joined by Grace? What would your take be on that?
Yeah, we have piloted the program in Nashville in 2 different parishes for the past 2 years, and some of the couples that have gone through the program were couples who have been married before civilly. Say yes, it applies. It speaks to them. It does not address being married civilly, but it talks about the concept of sacramental marriage and what that means, and it applies to everybody.
Wonderful. Thank you.
And I like how there's some great resources in the books that you provided that are how to address or welcome someone who is, either a catechumen or in the RCIA or maybe not Catholic yet. And I think that's an important, helpful resource that you've put into the book. We have
the book.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
The online information, some of that is online, and the online information will include also how to deal or politely address the interfaith couples or interreligious couples, or how to address couples who are living together. So the resources there are for a variety of situations as a help for priests or deacons or engaged or mentor couples who are working with the engaged.
Okay, so we got a question about this is apart from the catechesis on the sacraments and faith and life and joy by grace. How is the idea of necessary freedom and consent presented to the couple? So maybe he's asking about vows or how are the marriage vows kind of addressed, or maybe he's talking more about a specific topic related to marriage. But maybe you could talk about the concept of freedom and consent. Any words on that?
Yeah, they are addressed in conjunction with, especially today, with different situations that young couples find themselves in. Situation if they're living together. One, for example, is a problem with a possible lack of full consent, or if they have children already. But they are probably addressed more by the priest than it's more appropriate for the priest to address those, excuse me, than the mentor couple. We do talk about some of that in relation also to pornography and to other situations that people get themselves in today because there's a possibility their judgment is clouded.
Wonderful, thank you. Let's see. Another question that we have is dioceses that have active CEE programs, how does this program overlap with the CEE weekend?
I don't know. What is CEE? I don't know what CEE is.
What is the weekend?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe Catholic Engaged Encounter or something like that. But
yeah, I do not know. I'm not very familiar with the structure of the Catholic Engaged Encounter, so I really do not know how this would compare.
Okay.
I suppose looking at that scope and completeness chart might help them understand what this program has to offer, and then they can see how that would be different from what they're doing.
Yeah, I think you guys had mentioned this earlier, but it's on the GoToWebinar panel under handouts. It might be a little bit difficult to find if you're in attendance here, but you should be able to find that PDF. It'll be down. You can download it right there. It'll also be up on the Joined by Grace website. And John and Terry have mentioned a couple of different resources that'll be up on the website. And right now we're getting some finishing touches in the design department on those resources to be up and to look a little bit prettier than the Word document form we had them in before. So those will be up, if not this week, next week, and they'll be up ready to go for both program directors and mentor couples as well. Let's see. So Fiona's asking, I think, more about the sacrament of matrimony, actually celebrating the sacrament. Of course, we're talking about marriage preparation. Still, I'll maybe address that question. But before I do that, I just wanted to give a shout out to Paul Taylor, Deacon Paul Taylor, who's here saying he really appreciates the program. It's been well received, and he said some good comments. He said about mentor couples that they've really had how important it is to find people that are being able to meet them at their own level. So thanks, Paul, Deacon Paul, for sharing that insight. Back to the question, and maybe the two of you could address if you'd like. The marriage celebrated within the Mass is new to me. Since marriage is sort of a family affair for the couple, are there suggestions in the manual on ways to convince couples to celebrate the sacrament during Mass? Do you get into that very much?
No, we don't get into that. It's a lot beyond what we were intending.
Yeah, and I think we have a Together for Life product, which I think maybe it's helpful to say right here. Is Together for Life is different from Joined by Grace. Together for Life is what you would give to a couple to help plan their Mass or their celebration of matrimony, the sacrament. And Joined by Grace really is a marriage preparation program, so preparing not just for the wedding day, but for beyond that. Making sure whether it's mentor couples or a retreat model, a diocesan or a parish, that there's a program in place, and here's some resources to help with that. So some of these questions are about more the marriage sacrament, but I think that's good a distinction to make here. Christina, do you have another question, or I can pull one up? Unmute. It's good.
So I have a question for you regarding the couples books. So how does your story fit into the couples book? Does the couple get to walk with you throughout their journey, or how is your story told in the couples book?
Well, the couples book is really a compilation of many stories. Partially it is some of our stories, if that's what you mean by personal stories. So it's a compilation of many couples who have helped us throughout the years, and we met and they shared their experiences, and so we have permission to share those with other people. It is a story of going from when we got married to today. There are stories of people who overcame pornography, people who overcame infidelity, conflict resolution, through very small day-to-day situations, and how how those need to be handled to grow as a couple, because each small situation is a growth opportunity, or it could destroy, take away from the marriage. And the couples that have used the program in the pilot were very touched by the stories. They find that they relate well to the stories, and they present real life to them of what marriage is.
But I think also to answer your question, Christina, is that we do share a lot of our stories in there, and some of them are, they're not really dramatic ones, but they were dramatic at the time. And some were regarding budget, some were regarding whether or not it was appropriate for me to throw away all of John's clothes or give away his clothes. It was when he lost a job, and we dealt with job loss and what were we going to do, and then a possible relocation, and so some of the struggles that we went through, and some of them, most of them we can laugh at now, but they weren't very funny at the time. But you will get to know us if you read the.
If you read the book, you get to know us.
Yes, the couples will get to know us through the book that we believe we've been through. Well, we've encountered enough situations that we've
grown because of it.
We've grown, right.
I think that's one of my favorite parts about this program, both because you've inserted much of your own personal testimony, your own personal witness, and in working with Spirit Juice and in working with you all, we wanted to make sure that the video portion that you were integrating in wasn't a talking head. It wasn't, the John and Terry Bozio presentation on what marriage is and isn't, but really get couples to share their stories. And that's what I think we're most proud about this, is that it's going to not only on the level of the content share the witness of the couples, but also, as you said earlier, how important it is for the mentor couples or the group leaders or the small group or large group leaders to share their own personal testimonies, their own personal witness. So very grateful for that model that you've placed into the books. Well, I think we've gotten most of the questions answered, and I think we'll start to wrap up here. But before we do, can you tell us a little bit where we can find out more about you and the work you're doing, whether it's not just for marriage preparation, but for marriage enrichment? What are the two of you up to these days?
We have 3 programs, marriage enrichment programs, that could be very helpful as a follow-up to a marriage preparation program because they are aimed at that age level. One is called 6 Days for Catholic Couples, and many people have used that. Over 500 parishes in the country have used 6 Days. Following that, we developed one called the Beatitudes, and also the format is 6 days. That is, people come to the parish, watch a show, and then they go on a date. And they will have a handout to help them talk about the different situations. And we just launched a brand new program on the cardinal virtues. It's called the Virtues for Couples. You can learn about these in 2 different websites. One is called www.happy-together.net. And the other one is www.virtues.net.
Thank you both. I know at my own personal parish that for sure having marriage preparation and marriage enrichment both growing at the same time, they feed off of one another. So it's a great idea to have, both in place. John and Terry, thanks so much for the gift of the program, but also for today and offering some insights into what we can do for marriage preparation right now and how we can make sure that we're welcoming, making sure that we're having a sense of belonging, that the community is involved in the parish and aware of what's going on in marriage preparation, and that our couples are learning about the faith along the way and growing in their own personal relationship with God. So thank you so much for today. I want to just we talked about it a lot, but I want to make sure that everyone knows again, if you want to go to joinbygrace.com for more information, there's also information on AveMariaPress.com that the Join by Grace Starter Pack is available. It's $124.95. The idea is there that parishes would buy the starter pack, review the materials, and if they want to keep the program, they would buy the extra resources and be able to fully implement it. If not, return it in good condition and go on from there. So Join by Grace Starter Pack is the first step in bringing Join by Grace to your parish. But if you want to have a little bit more kind of downloadable samples, if you go to joinbygrace.com, you can get some additional resources there first.
And before we sign off, we would like to thank our partners once again, the National Conference for Catechetical Leadership, the National Association of Catholic Family Life Ministers, the Association for Lay Ministry, and the National Federation of Priest Councils. If you're not familiar with their organizations, please check out their websites, which you can see displayed on your screen here. This webinar has been recorded, and you can find the recording of this and all of our past webinar recordings appear on YouTube, Vimeo, and the Ave Maria Press website.
So next week, our webinar series continues. We are welcoming back Father Michael White and Tom Corcoran. They are the authors, of course, of Rebuilt, and they have a new workbook called the Rebuilt Field Guide, which is coming out this month. And next week, they're going to do something a little bit different. So rather than having just a webinar presentation, they're going to bring in a member of the Rebuilt Parish Association, and they're basically going to walk through a process for finding Timonium Tim. So if you read Rebuilt, there's a chapter that they describe how they really identified their mission field. They identified who they're going out and evangelizing essentially in and around their parish. And so what Father Michael and Tom are going to help do is walk us through the process by specifically talking to one parish, and they'll be using the Rebuilt Field Guide to do that. So we'll see you hopefully next Tuesday. Like I said before, please check out Join by Grace and joinbygrace.com and all the great work that John and Terry have put together for us all. So thanks everybody, and have a great week.
Thank you.